Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today I'm in Kytäjän wilderness area in Finland. It was about an hour drive just outside of Helsinki today to get here, and I'm just starting up here. I followed this, what I can imagine is an old logging trail that they used to use, and now I'm just about to start the actual trail here into the forest. Today I have a 10-kilometer loop hike planned, and then I'm gonna camp somewhere in between and finish it up tomorrow. Yeah, should take me a few hours to do, and I'm gonna get started here, and as always I'll be back with something soon. Alright, I've officially given up on taking the trekking poles with me. It's just so much to switch between those and the tripod and the gimbal I use for filming this part of the video. So I'll go without them for now until I feel like I need them. But yeah, we've had some pretty nice weather here. Today's the first day that it's been plus 20 degrees Celsius. I think it's around 70 in Fahrenheit. It's been really nice. It's been raining a little bit, so it's a little bit muddy. But it's nice to have the rain so we can have some fires. Yeah, this section now looks like it's turning on to a bit of an actual road here. So I'm gonna keep following this, and I think it's the right place I'm supposed to be. So we'll see in a bit if I end up at the camping spot. It's crazy how fast the mosquitoes come out. Last week when I was camping, I didn't see a single one the whole time, and now anytime I stop for more than a few seconds, they're just swarming me right away. They're all over the place. And I forgot to bring bug spray, so I hope they're not too bad at the camping site. This trail that I'm doing today is called the Niittylahti Tour, and it's actually part of a bigger biking trail that I've been thinking lately. I really want to give that a try. I already have a bike that would be fine for it. I just don't have any of the bags that I would need. I think they're called pannier bags that go like inside the frame of the bike and then over the back and front wheels. And I've been thinking that since I made my tarp and my hammock and I've been trying to sew my own things more, that it would be nice to try and make those for myself so I can kind of customize them and make them exactly how I want them. So hopefully in the future I'll have a video of me bike packing and doing that to change things up a little bit. Maybe once I find out if I actually enjoy riding the bike that long and doing all the bike packing things, maybe I can put together a kind of longer trip that goes maybe further in Finland. Maybe I can ride my bike all the way up to Lapland. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, I feel like it would give me a lot more different things that I could do with the bike. I just have to get a bike rack for the car. I don't have one right now, so I don't really feel like riding the bike all the way out here and then continuing to bike even farther just yet. So I have to figure that part out first. But maybe at the end of this summer, or maybe next summer, I get into that. I just bought this new DJI Osmo gimbal to hold my phone while I'm recording out here because my last one broke, and this one is a lot heavier than the cheap plastic one I had before. So my arm's definitely getting a workout as well as my legs. When I started making the videos, I didn't want to invest too much in it just in case I didn't enjoy it or I didn't have time for it or whatever. So whenever I'm trying a new hobby, I try and buy like the gear that you need. I try and buy like some of the cheaper gear to start, and then usually if I end up breaking that gear, that means that I'm doing it enough that I can actually invest some money into some nicer stuff. So that's been pretty nice. I'm happy I got to this point where I can kind of justify it in my head to spend a little bit more money on this hobby, even if it is cutting into my budget for backpacking gear and new things to sew. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying watching these as much as I enjoy putting them all together. And please, if you have anything, any feedback for me or anything that you'd like to see me do, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to read those and see what you guys are thinking. And I was saying how we have some pretty nice weather today. The campsite that I'm going to is right next to a lake, so I'm hoping the water isn't too cold not to swim yet. It's a pretty big lake, so it might be a little bit cold, but I'm hoping at least I can go in for a dip. And then tomorrow it's supposed to rain some. Last time I checked, it'll be like very early morning it'll start to rain. So I guess we'll get to see how good of a job I did last video in sealing my tarp, and hopefully I didn't miss any spots. Alright, I just got to the little camping spot here. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, and well, the whole hike down was kind of just down like a mountainside kind of, and here's the area, and then right behind me is where it kind of goes straight up, and on either side it's basically just hills going straight up. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative with my hammock, I think, tonight, and I'm gonna have to look pretty hard for a few trees that are close to each other. I mean, right at this little camping spot there's, see, this tree right here and then a tree right over there that I think are just far enough apart that it'll work for me, but I just have to see if there's going to be other people coming here tonight, because I don't want my hammock to be right next to the fire pit and right in like kind of the common area. If there are more people coming, I want to be a little bit further away. So I think I'm going to wait to set everything up until it gets a little bit later, and I know that probably nobody else is coming tonight. But I'm so hungry. It's about 4 o'clock right now. I had a bit of a late start today, and I haven't eaten since breakfast, so I'm really hungry. I'm going to get some food started. Today I have unstuffed peppers. I think I've eaten them before on a video, but yeah, I'm going to get started with the food. Maybe I'll go for a little swim soon, and after that I'm going to check out a little bit around the area and just see if there's a better place for me to hang up my hammock a little bit more out of the way. All right, I'm just waiting for my food to finish up here, and I just had a quick look around at some spots that I can camp at, and I found so much better of a spot right up here. So let's go have a look. So I saw this spot and I was like, okay, this looks a lot nicer. And I've got this tree here and this one here that are just far enough apart for the hammock. So I was pretty happy with it. But then I saw this other little trail right here and was thinking, well, what's on the other side of it? So let's see what's over here. This is so much nicer of a spot, so I'm gonna go and grab my food and my gear and everything that I set down over there and bring it over here, and then I'll have a much nicer view for lunch. All right, just finished up lunch here, had an amazing time. It was delicious as always. And now I think I'm gonna get started to set up my hammock so I can relax in there a bit. Up here, kind of where my pack is there's these few trees all along here that I think I can find a good place for the hammock. And well, I think more importantly, the tarp needs to fit somewhere since it's gonna rain. So I'm gonna grab that stuff and figure it out and put everything up, and then I think after that I'll go up and grab all that firewood that was at that other campsite, since there isn't any here, and just bring some of it over here so later tonight I can have a bit of a fire. I just finished setting everything up, but I rewatched that time lapse again, and I could see this tree on this side. When I sat in my hammock, I saw it tilt really far this way, so it made me a little bit concerned about the tree. That I checked it out first to see if it's, you know, like a big enough tree and if it's actually in the ground well that it'll actually hold me, and it looked fine right away. But then after I looked at the time lapse, I looked a little bit closer and look at what I found. So here's that tree, and when I came over here, you look underneath, and it's completely rotted out underneath, and inside you can see straight through, and I have no idea how high up it is rotted out, but it definitely doesn't seem too stable. And well, there's the tree that I'm attached to right now, and there's this tree right next to it that looks a lot healthier. So I'm gonna take everything down and reset it up with this tree right next to it, just to make sure that I don't wake up with a tree falling on top of me tonight. All right, just finished setting up the tarp and hammock again, have it connected here to this other tree back here. I tested it out and checked out the tree. looks a lot better now. So now I can sleep safe knowing that there's not going to be a tree falling on me in the middle of the night. Yeah, now that I got that all set up, I'm gonna go grab that firewood, put it by the fire pit here, and then maybe go for a swim now and enjoy the last few hours that I have awake. Okay, just finished up swimming and getting changed and getting back over here. I think it's time for fire now. It was pretty cold, so I'm gonna get working on that, and then I brought my book over and I'm gonna read that a bit and just hang out by the fire the rest of the night. It's about 10 o'clock now. I've been sitting by the fire for a few hours, reading a little bit and just hanging out. I also was live on Instagram for a little bit. Thanks to those who joined and talked for a bit. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna leave it here for the end of the night, and I'll be back with something as soon as I wake up in the morning.
Alright, I just woke up for the day. It's about 9 o'clock and, well, you can hear it's raining pretty hard right now. I slept pretty well last night actually, and only kind of woke up a little bit around 7 o'clock when the birds were chirping, but otherwise, yeah, I slept really well. And so far, tarp is hanging up okay, but I do see a little bit of water that fell through onto my bug net, so I'm not too worried about it because there's not too much water, but it just looks like I missed a couple of spots when I was seam sealing, so I'm just gonna have to go over those spots one more time. Here you can see those spots on the bug net where there's just a few drops that got through, and it looks like it's mostly just right underneath this center tie out point on the top, so I'll just have to go over that again. And then it looks like down here there's a couple of drops that are just from the center of the ridge line, so I guess I'll just go over those again.
Alright, I just got up and got changed, and I realized a little bit more water was dripping on me, so I was curious and put my hand up along this like center line of the tarp, and it's completely soaking wet. I'm not sure what happened with the seam seal. Maybe it just needs a couple more coats, but yeah, water has been coming straight through and soaking into this fabric. That I use this like grow grain ribbon to kind of give some more strength to the center of the tarp, and it's completely soaking wet and is just dripping all over my
hammock and everything. So I've got to be extra careful when I go home to make sure everything dries out before I put it all away. But yeah, I think now I'm gonna skip breakfast and just get an early start out of here. The rain is kind of clearing up a little bit, but I just want to get everything put away, and the tarp is really low down, so it's not the most comfortable thing for sitting and eating breakfast. So yeah, I'm gonna start packing everything up, and then I'll be back with something once I get out of here. All right, I've been at it for about 20 minutes now trying to take everything down, and I have a very interesting problem that I've never run into before. That all morning it's been raining, so this is what's holding up my hammock, this gray line here that goes to the tree strap to the tree. So it's been raining all morning, and when I woke up around 7, I noticed my hammock was lower than it should be, and I was basically like almost touching the ground. So I got out of the hammock, I tightened these straps again and lifted myself back up, and then kept sleeping for a couple hours. But since it's raining, all of these are soaked with water, so they're a little bit more stretchy than usual. So they've stretched out even further, and then I tightened them even more. And so now, for the life of me, I cannot get this undone, that these don't pull any further than they already are right now. And I've been trying for 20 minutes to unhook this carabiner and unhook the one on that side over there. But I just can't get them to move because they're already as stretched as they possibly can be. So I've tried I took everything out of my hammock already to try and make it as light as possible, so hopefully it would come up a little bit. It didn't. I tried untying the ridge line in my hammock, but I tied it so tight, and the rope is such an exact length that the knot doesn't have a lot of room to work with, so I just couldn't get that undone too. So I think I'm just gonna have to cut my hammock down. I never thought I'd have to do this before, but I guess I will, which is not the end of the world because these tree straps are pretty old, and I've been thinking about making my own anyways soon, and I have all the material for it. So I think I'm just gonna cut this one hole of the tree strap, so I can still use these if I want, or I can just sew it back together, to be honest. And then hopefully then I should have my hammock out of here, and I should get started on packing up the tarp and everything else. Everything's all packed up. There's the campsite, and well, right where I'm standing was the tarp and the hammock. And I'm absolutely soaking wet. I just changed my socks to a dry pair from yesterday, and I'm hoping they'll stay at least a little bit dry the rest of the walk back. I'm guessing it's gonna take me, maybe an hour and a half before I get back. And then I have a nice warm car to sit inside of. So yeah, I'm gonna get going here, get out of this rain as soon as I can, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, just got out of the main trail part of that, and I'm back on one of these gravel roads here. That was pretty crazy, getting everything taken down while it was raining. I had this one spot where the rain kind of stopped for a bit, and that's where I started taking my sleeping bag and underquilt and hammock and all of that down underneath the tarp. And then right after I got all that packed up, I started taking the tarp down, and right when I untied it from one of the trees, it just started absolutely downpouring.
And if I still had the tarp up at that point, I would have just stood underneath it and waited it out a little bit until it cleared up a little. But it was already taken down, so I got absolutely poured on, and my jacket is completely like wetted out. That it's a waterproof jacket, but once there's so much water, you can't really do anything about it, and it just kind of soaks in. So I'm just hoping I feel a little bit dry underneath, so I'm hoping my sweater isn't too wet, that I can keep wearing it to stay warm. But thankfully it's not too cold. I think it's like, I don't know, I didn't check, but it's probably somewhere to like 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, so not too cold. My hands are getting a little cold because I don't have any gloves, but I think I'll be all right. Yeah, that's the first time that I had this bad of a rain before when I've been camping. I think one time last summer it rained a little bit, but it was in the evening and through the night, so I didn't really have to deal with it that much, and it cleared up by the morning. Plus I had a tarp that was properly seam sealed and made by an actual like tarp manufacturer that really know what they're doing, so it held out all the rain. So now that's my next task for the next time I go camping, is to make sure I seam seal this one a lot better and give it a few more coats. I think this is where I'm going to leave it for this video. I've got the car just up around this corner here. Thank you so much for coming and watching. I had a ton of fun today. You know, it's kind of nice when the weather is a little bit different and maybe raining a little bit. It is a little bit more challenging, and it's nice to see how I can take everything down and do everything with getting the least amount of wet as possible. And it's nice to do it in such a like low risk environment that, you know, I'm so close to the car, so I can just walk back and it's not really that cold out, and well, I'm a little wet, but nothing too bad. But yeah, I appreciate you coming and watching. I'm glad I found a new spot. I'm really happy with the camping spot, so I bet you can expect another video coming soon from here. Please let me know what you think. If you want me to try anything different, any feedback you have for me, I appreciate it. And if you liked, make sure that you liked the video, comment something, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm having so much fun doing this, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.